Broadcasting from the Merritt Hall Studios out of Carson City, Nevada. You're listening to Covering the Field with Big Richard Martin, Gator Gates, and Joe the Answer Ellison.
Welcome to Covering the Field. I'm Joe Ellison, and with me today are my amazing colleagues, Big Richard Martin, Gator Gates, and Rockin, Ronnie McKinnon. Big Rich, let's start in the NBA, where we left off last Wednesday with the Los Angeles Lakers leading the Golden State Warriors 3-1. How did that finish up?
Well, it was the premier game of the NBA Premier Series, and they lived up to it. The Lakers take down the defending champs in 6 games, as predicted on the show. King James was King James. Looks like he's back in his playoff prime. 30 points, 9 assists, and 9 rebounds. Anthony Davis, 30 rebounds and 17 points. Can somebody box out AD and Golden State? And what happened with Jordan Poole? My producer just put out that he is having Jordan Poole going to be in his Paul Bear at his funeral because he just wants him to let him down one last time. So Jordan Poole averaging 20 points a game, throws 7 points, 0 for 3. Golden State shoots in game 6, 27% from the three-point line. There wasn't much splashing going on then in LA, and they took care of business. You got to say Austin Reeves has been playing lights out, 4 out of 5 from three-point land. Lonnie Walker chips in with another 13 points, and he was 3 for 5 from the points, and the Lakers shot over 50% beyond the arc. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Lakers. You're moving on to the Western Conference Finals.
Well, the one guy who tried to block out Anthony Davis with his elbow was Kevin Looney, almost concussed him, and that could have certainly changed the series, but luckily Anthony Davis survived that. But you're right about the missed threes and the turnovers. Golden State. Next year, looking at them, and their luxury tax was $170 million this year.
Wow.
Are they going to be able to keep all their players? Could this be it for the Warriors?
Looks like the dynasty might be moving on. You thought having Jordan Poole was going to be build your team around that, and I just don't see that's a good recipe right now. Seeing the way he played this year in the playoffs. Seth Curry did put 32 points, and one thing we can be sure of, Seth Curry is not going anywhere. He's going to stay in Golden State. I see him staying the rest of his career there.
They'll make another run next year, I'm sure.
They'll make some adjustments. Got some great coaching out there with Kerr, and but the Lakers, it was their year. I mean, the 7th seed, going past Memphis, now going past Golden State.
More than that, they're the only last place team from a division to make a conference final in any sport ever.
Well, that would be a sink or swim.
Yeah. Oh, well, too late now. All right. So also in the Western Conference, Denver was leading Phoenix 3-2. Would there be any more drama in that series?
Well, I don't know. I mean, you look at it, man, the sun goes down in the desert. They go at a home game, and Denver takes care of business in 5.
Yeah. That last game was a real dud. Denver won by 25.
Yeah. Nicole Jokic was great again, 32 points, 10 assists, 12 rebounds. And that was his 4th triple-double in 11 games. So he is playing lights out. I mean, should we say the MVP? Either might have to have a police officer report to the Mile High City because I believe he's been robbed.
Yeah, my vote.
He's not even first team All NBA. Joel Embiid is, and they're both centers, so he doesn't get to be on first team.
He's the best player in the NBA. Can't be on the first team.
Next year, they're going to change that.
They're going to have to do some change. But we got to talk about, Latavius Cottle-Poole. He's 17 points in the first quarter, and they went on a 23-2 run and never looked back. They had 44 points at halftime. It was just a great game. They passed the ball well. They rebound well. They played great defense.
Well, that got Phoenix coach Monty Williams fired. And that's 2 years ago. That's your coach of the year with 64 wins. So,
the owner said that if he's the only one that could guard Djokovic, he was the only one that successfully guarded Djokovic when he took the ball from him. So he was definitely the best defensive player he feels on the team. And so he fired the coach. So he got to play defense. But the owner's playing the best defense on the team. We got a problem.
Well, that set up LA Lakers, Denver. That's the Western Conference Final. That's a rematch from the bubble.
Yes,
back
the
in
Lakers won 5.
Yeah. Last night we already had game 1. What happened?
Well, you're not in the bubble anymore. you're in the Mile High City, and LeBron James also said that the altitude is a thing, and the Lakers look like the older team for sure. They just came out and punched him right in the mouth. Jamal Murray had 31 points. Pope added 21. Michael Porter Jr., 15 points and 10 rebounds. We've been talking about him. And, off the bench, Bruce Brown, 16 points off the bench.
Well, they did have like 4 or 5 guys average, maybe even 6, average 10 points last series. They
passed the ball around well.
Right.
The one thing I think that you have anything, LeBron had 26 points. Anthony Davis had 40 points and 10 rebounds. So if there's any chink in the armor, maybe a bit on Jokic, is maybe doesn't play the best defense, plays average, but maybe not playing the best defense, but that keeps him out of getting foul trouble. You can outscore him. You don't have to play defense, I guess.
Yeah. But I didn't think they had a chance. They were down 21 points and then look back and they were only down like 5 or 6.
Joe, all heroes don't wear capes, because Austin Reeves came in and just shot lights out again and brought him back in. I mean, he was nailing the 3-pointers and got them all back into it. If you look at the stats, the only thing difference, if you looked at the shooting percentage, 3-point percentage, free throws, the only difference was the rebounds, 51 to 36. And of those 51, 15 of our offensive rebounds. So that gives you extra shots when you get 15 offensive rebounds compared to the only had I think 6 for the Lakers. So big advantage on the rebounding, because I think what they do is Djokovic is so hard to guard. You have to double team him. And when you do that, you leave the back door open for an offensive rebound. And that's exactly what happened. But that's going to, go ahead.
So does that help Denver? The fact that the Lakers came back and they still won, did it kind of wake them up a little bit? Or do you think that's more like advantage Lakers that come back in the sense that, if we just started off well, we should have won this game?
Well, what do you think about it, Gator?
Well, I think it goes back to what you were saying, Lakers being older and being up in that altitude. And I think the longer this goes on, and Denver having the home field advantage,
home court, and they were 7-0. They're 7-0 at home in the playoffs.
So I have to take Denver, but it's going to be back and forth. It's
going to be great.
But I do think that they're going to tire out.
Well, this game too is going to be pivotal. You look at both teams have won all of their home playoff games.
Right.
Advantage Denver. But the Lakers, they haven't had back-to-back losses in more than 2 months. So this game too, something's got to give.
Well, I think I'm going to take the Lakers and the points for sure. I took them last night. Took the Lakers and the points, even though I wanted Denver, and we won by the hook. We'll talk about that. And you guys
had it all the way.
Looked like it was a done deal. I had to go to the trash can and pull my ticket out because I thought I lost it at halftime when they're up by 21 points. But I'm going to give you guys a secret swim because there's a little bit of stuff that's going on here with some of the players here. They all came out of the 2018 NBA draft. Bryce Brown and Lonnie Walker Jr., the 4th, both came from Miami. Okay. Both came from Miami, and they both came out the same year. And also they came out with Michael Porter Jr. Now, who was picked first? Michael Porter Jr. was picked first above Lonnie Walker and Bruce Brown.
Well, I would swim. I would. Yeah, I'm gonna go swim on that one because Porter Jr. seemed like the one I would have picked.
Ronnie,
I'm saying sink.
You're sinking. We got one swim, one sink. The deciding vote.
I'm going to have to go swim. Sounds right. And I think that Michael Porter Jr. was supposed to be the first-round pick. He was going to be the first-round pick, but he hurt his back. So actually, that's yeah.
So
now that you said that,
San Antonio picked the 9th pick. They picked Leno, and the Nuggets picked him up the 14th pick. And Bruce Brown was picked up in the 2nd round, the 40th pick. So all great players out of Miami. You look at it, they were teammates, and all of a sudden now they're playing in the Western Conference Finals together. So it's just some trivia there a little bit. But Michael Porter Jr. looked like the Denver got a steal because he was going to be the one. They took a little gamble. He has been hurt. But the dude's just a stud. He's like 6'10", 225. Now you see him rebounding now. He just gets a little bit more, physical, puts a little bit more, meat on the bones. I think that he could be a dominant player.
Well, I'm liking LA in the second game. I think they bounce back, which leads me to LA winning in 6 games, I guess, if we continue with the Lakers winning all their home games.
So, yeah. So you're saying that all they have to do is they came to Mile High and to just win one game. That's what they wanted her to do, and they almost stole it last night. If Reeves would hit that last 3-pointer with under like a minute left, that would have tied the game.
That's going to bite them too. That's going to bite big.
6.5 is the spread, and the
Plus 6.5 Denver.
plus 6.5.
What's tonight?
The Lakers. I would the spread out. I'm going to get that from my producer right now. It'll probably be somewhere around the same.
5.5 is what I
know.
So you're not. It's 8. No,
That's
Boston.
It's 5.5.
It's 5.5 because
Because
Vegas
the
hates
Lakers
losing
just
by the
started-
hook, so they're just going to get the hook the other way. They're going to take it down a point. So
We'll see how that goes.
see how that goes.
And moving on to the Eastern Conference, when we left off, Philadelphia was leading Boston.
You guys at 5.5.
5.5.
Well, I had just looked it up earlier today.
So good.
Should I have mentioned that?
5.5. So
Change it.
I still like it though. I still like that. I think it's going to be a close game. I think, like you said, I think the Lakers get it done. But let's move on to the Philly.
Yeah, Philly was leading Boston 3-2. They're hosting the Celtics in Game 6. Looks like they're on their way. What occurred there?
Well, Philly was at home. They were winning 73-71 entering the fourth quarter. Jason Tatum had one field goal. He was 1 for 9 at the time. He wakes up and decides to put his cape on. He goes 4 for 4 for 3 points, and he outscored the 76ers by himself 16-13 in the fourth quarter and totally took momentum out of that stadium and totally ran right into Game 7 when he added 51. The only 7 game to have 51 points in a 7 game. Jason Tatum was awesome, and it just seemed like you're up by they had a 16-point lead at one point in the game. 76ers did, and it's unbelievable that they let that go. And that cost their coach the job.
Yeah,
Go Celtics.
yeah. Doc Rivers got fired again. Philadelphia only got 86 and 88 points in the last 2 games. So that's the way you just fizzle out.
Right. When James Harden had 9 points and the MVP had 15 points for the game, and he says it can't be more than 2 players to beat this team. So totally shifted the blame off himself when you're supposed to be the MVP. I think he should just get that trophy right over. I think Tatum tried to go get that trophy from him because Tatum was number 4 in the league for the MVP, and I think he's the number 1.
All right.
A lot of people would agree.
Clover Irish stuff works, I'm telling you.
In the other half of the Eastern Conference, Miami was up 3-1 over New York. When we left off, how did that end up?
Well, I mean, Jimmy Butler is just running through the Eastern Conference, knocking off Milwaukee, now knocking off the Knicks. Didn't look like they had too much problem with it. I mean, one good thing is Jalen Brunson from the Knicks. Yeah, the kid out of Villanova. He's averaged 27.8 points per game, and I think they have something they can build on. Julius Randle might not be the answer there, but definitely, when he shoots 47% from the field and then 33% from the 3-point line, you have something you can build on.
Yeah.
What's that spread on the Celtics?
It's 8. Yeah.
8.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of glad New York's not in it anymore because that organ they have over in that stadium was driving me crazy.
Right.
But, it's the
It's
same
turned down
thing
the
over
volume.
and over.
Yeah.
It's
Maybe
awful.
do like the slap shot where they hit him with the hockey puck or something, knock him out, the Oregon players, so we don't have to hear him. But
So that's 2 play-in teams in the Final 4.
Yeah.
And we didn't have any play-in teams even win a series the last few years. So.
right. Well, we talk about the Lakers.
Yeah.
With the talent that they have, and you talk about Miami, they were the number 1 seed last year.
Right.
Going into the Eastern Conference, where we get our rematch.
Well, yeah, last year Boston won in 7 games, and how do you think that's going to shake out this
I
time?
think it's going to be closer than the spread says. I think it's an emotional series, 7 games. Boston might be a little flat tonight. I like the points. I don't know if they'll win, but Boston has had a little bit of problem at home. They dropped a couple games at home, and I think Jimmy Butler is just amazing. So I'm taking Bucket Butler with the points tonight.
Well, last year the road team won 5 of the 7 games in that series, and I can see a lot of road teams doing good again here.
Right.
I'm going to take Miami in 7 for the heck of it because I can't.
Really?
I like this price plus 400 in this series.
Yeah.
No respect for Miami at all.
Worth a couple bucks.
I think you should. Yeah, I mean, look what they've been
Yeah.
doing. I mean, yeah, you got to give them some respect. And I think, like you say, the 8 in this, I don't know, it's
I like the points more. I mean, it's kind of hard to bet against Tatum the way he's playing right now.
Yeah.
Totally agree. Totally agree.
But I would say that's
Butler's
good odds.
And they were
It's their year, so I'm
I
gonna.
mean, they were 52 and 8 at home during the season. So it's like, I believe.
Well, does that change your
So-
championship prediction at all?
Well, I had 76ers, and I was looking good for 3 quarters.
Right.
But I figured I wanted to see Embiid and Jokic play. That's what I want to see. Those have their rematch since Embiid didn't play the final game.
He would
in
have to
Denver.
play then.
He would have to play then and have to go against the real MVP.
Right.
But but you get Boston and LA. That's great. That's always a great series.
Yeah,
That
no
goes
doubt.
back.
I've been through a lot of those.
Exactly. And then if you get Miami and the Lakers, that's the bubble. And then and if you get Denver, they've never been there, and you got Jokic just playing lights out. So I think we can't go wrong with any of the 4 teams. We're going to have an exciting series.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
4 teams left. Any guess as to what Miami's odds are to win the championship? You won't believe it.
Still, right
16-1,
now.
and there's only 4 teams left.
And Butler,
That's got to be worth a little bit of money.
Yeah. Okay. Well, they're definitely
The way they've been playing.
But I've got LA beating Miami.
okay.
As far as point spreads are concerned, Miami's turned things around in playoffs. The Heat were 18 games below 500 during the regular season. Now they're 9-4 in the playoffs. Boston's been consistent all year. Both teams have had 8 of their playoff games go over, so I'm going to be watching that.
Definitely went over last
for
night.
tonight. Well, that was
I was over at halftime.
Yeah.
With very high scoring game. It was
Denver and LA. They've been covering, but their totals kind of contradict each other. But that first one sure went over pretty easy.
Right.
So thanks to Butch the Butcher for some of those statistics. A couple final notes, one good, one bad. The NBA draft lottery was last night with a chance to take 7'3", still growing. It could be 7'5" by now. I don't know. 19-year-old Frenchman Victor Wembanyama with the first pick, and the winner is San Antonio.
Wow, isn't that great? It seems like the league's better when San Antonio's in there, don't you think? Like they had David Robinson, and then David Robinson got hurt and had a real bad year. Then they pick up Tim Duncan, and then now you got the Twin Towers. And then they had a little dynasty. They won 3 NBA champions.
That was with Popovich, right?
Popovich,
They got as many as 5.
right?
5 together.
So
Why not?
why not San? And I think they just probably their odds right now probably just went up to probably make it a little bit.
The first year, I mean, they were so bad this year. They didn't have anybody.
Right.
So they have one guy now.
Yeah.
That's a good start. That's a great
think
start.
Maybe next year. And the bad, Memphis' John Morant had it again. Another video with him and a gun. His last suspension was 8 games. What do you think this time?
Well, I don't know if there's any help for this kid. I mean, you're on live Instagram waving a pistol. I mean, I don't know what to.
Yeah. What do you think?
What do you think's going to happen? It's definitely. He went to therapy for this. Obviously, it didn't work.
Kind of like going to rehab,
Yeah,
right?
you need rehab for not
Relapse.
flashing your gun. You just stop carrying firearms and you'll be fine. But he's saying it's a squirt gun, so you can't really.
Good one. It's got to be at least a third of the season.
Exactly.
So 28 games, I'm going to guess. 25 for sure. Moving on to hockey. NHL playoffs continue to be very exciting, as always. Last Wednesday, Vegas was leading Western Conference favorite Edmonton 2-1. Gator, how'd that finish?
Oh, it finished pretty great for the Knights there.
Yeah, for sure.
Edmonton just didn't have any answers, Joe. So they ended up winning 4-2 in 6 games.
Yeah, Vegas, that Alex Pietrangelo, he took that 2-hand chop to Leon Draisaitl. No, I was totally rooting against him after that.
And that was rude. I agree.
And Draisaitl was leading the league in playoff points at the time, so he was the target.
He sure was.
And that led to some fun stuff. 69 penalty minutes in the last 3 minutes and 48 seconds.
Yeah.
93 total. Pietrangelo, he was only suspended 1 game, but I think that's because Draisaitl didn't get hurt.
Well,
If he would have broke his wrist or something, he would have been out.
a little bit of old-time hockey is what it sounds like.
Oh, but that was a 2-hand chop.
Yep. And all those stats that you just said too, Joe, sounds like the old playoffs.
Yeah. Okay, well, that was not a hockey play right there.
No, yeah. Even the announcer said it too. That's not a hockey play.
So he should have been suspended longer than that, I thought.
I agree.
But anyway, so Vegas took that game 5. Edmonton was 9-0 after a loss, but Vegas ended that series in 6. And, good for them. In the other Western Conference semi, Dallas and Seattle were knotted at 2 when we last chatted. What happened there?
Oh, that was great series, Joe. I thought that Seattle playing Minnesota or Dallas would be great, and that went to Game 7. Dallas went on and beat Seattle 2-1 in the last game, so they won the series 4-3.
Great year for Seattle.
Oh, very great year. They'll be there. They'll be there again.
Right. Joe Pavelski for Dallas, franchise record 8 goals in a series.
Yeah.
Wyatt Johnston, the youngest player in NHL history to score a game-winning goal in a Game 7.
Wow.
And trivia, who was the guy who had that? It was 31 years ago.
Oh, wow. Sidney Crosby.
Ooh, Jaromir Jagr.
Oh,
Yeah.
working on it.
Well, I don't think it was 31 years old. Couldn't be Crosby. He's not. He'd be 70 years old playing hockey.
Right team. Right team. Different
Wrong
guy.
name. Right team, wrong name.
So now, Coach Peter DeBoer, a perfect 7-0 in Game 7s for Dallas. So in case it goes that far,
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
Now he's going to coach against the team that fired him just last
They're
year.
great. Ain't that great?
Vegas. Isn't that amazing?
It's great.
So who you got in this series?
Oh, I think it's going to go 7 again, Joe.
Oh,
And
advantage Dallas then.
I'm taking the Knights.
Okay, but we have an
like
injury.
Marcia,
We have an
Marcia's
injury. We have an injury to the goalie, right?
Mhm.
Correct. Bassett.
Brossois.
Yeah. Okay. Brossois.
Brossois.
He has a leg injury and he won't be playing for the series.
Right, you have Hill in there right now, and the backup to Hill is quick. So even if
Yeah.
Hill gets hurt, Quick will be there.
Hill looked pretty good.
I would say so.
So he won in the playoffs. Not bad.
Yeah. So I don't think that's a huge loss there. So it's going to be a hell of a series. I'm looking forward to that one for sure
Mhm.
because the only money I have left is Dallas,
Dallas.
and I got 40-1 at the beginning of the season. So
Yeah.
it'd be nice to have that. In the East, Florida was up 3-0 over Toronto. Carolina was ahead 3-1 over New Jersey. How'd those series finish?
Well, yeah, man, Toronto, they were going to get shut out. They won that game, or they were going to get swept, and they won that game. But they lost 4-1.
Yeah.
It's kind of disappointing. You see the fans.
Well,
I mean,
they did win the one game in Florida. Surprise. And then they come back home and then just lose again.
And as far as the other one, Carolina and New Jersey, I think the better team won there big time. I think Carolina should and will go on. I still think Carolina's going to beat Florida.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's a shame, but Canada is finished now.
Yeah.
So they're
another year.
The last time they won the cup,
I remember last year. I don't remember.
1993.
I know it's been a
Montreal Canadiens beat the Los Angeles Kings and Wayne Gretzky. So it's been a long time.
Wow. Yeah.
Patrick Roy in goal. So, yeah, that's sad for Canada. That is their sport.
Yeah.
But so who's going to win that series between Carolina and Florida? Man, this one looks like a really tough one to predict.
No, I don't. I think Carolina's the way better team. I'm going to take
Even
Carolina.
though Florida just beat Boston.
I still like Carolina.
Okay.
And I think it's going to be in 6.
Okay.
And then in the other one, I guess we already touched on it a little bit.
You said Vegas in 7 and
Vegas
Carolina in 6 is what you got.
Exactly.
Okay. Well, Carolina is getting back one of their stud players. Teuvo Teravainen is supposed to be coming back.
I did hear that.
So
And that's a big plus.
he's a really good player, important player for him. So I'm going to pick Carolina in 7 because of him coming back.
Okay. And the goalies. I think the better goalies are on Carolina.
Okay. So who wins the Stanley Cup now that we're down to 4 teams?
Well, you would think Carolina's going to be the favorite, but somehow, some way, I'm going to take Vegas.
Take Vegas. And since I have Dallas beating Vegas, I guess I'm going to take Dallas over Carolina.
There's just something about Carolina. I don't know. I just don't see them winning that Stanley Cup, even though that everybody's got them being the better team by far. Just the power rankings.
Who's the better team, you said?
Carolina.
Oh, Carolina. Yeah. But you say they're going to lose in the final.
Yes.
Okay.
To Vegas.
Well, it's pretty even. Carolina's plus 230, Vegas plus 250, Dallas is 3-1, and Florida plus 330. I mean, that's about as even as you
You're
can
gonna
get.
exactly parity.
Right.
That's why they are. That's why we have these seeds that are in there right now.
Right.
Yeah, what
teams.
you talking
It's gonna
about
be
last
great.
week, or I thought I just read it. Florida has like been really good for
Couple months now.
Yeah.
right, exactly. Yeah.
They've been playing playoff
Yeah.
hockey for a couple of
Right,
weeks.
right,
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
They've
Kind of
been
like
amazing.
second hand to them right now.
Well, gentlemen, the 148th running of horse racing's Preakness Stakes. The second jewel of the Triple Crown is this Saturday at
That's right.
4:00 from
That's
Pimlico Racecourse in Baltimore. What should we expect?
A lot of drinking, Joe.
A lot of
It's not the mint jewel up there.
Right. No, it's not.
Derby.
It's not.
Something else.
And this is a grade 1 race, mile and 3/16, where the Derby was a mile and a quarter. So it's just
1/16 shorter.
1/16 shorter, and $1.65 million. Gator, go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if you want my picks, I do my exacta boxes. I'm going to single National Treasure. That's Bob Baffert's horse, number
Right.
1. Then I'll go 1 with 7, 8. 7 would be Blazing Sevens
Mhm.
in the 7th
I
spot.
like it.
And First Mission, number 8. Look, Luis Saez is on him. Now, Lady Gator, just to give you guys, we'll have her picks up on the website. But Lady Gator's doing a try box. She's got Mage in there with Blazing Sevens and First Mission.
Yeah, I think it's hard not to, consider Mage the only horse from the Kentucky Derby that's running. The other 7 didn't run in it, and he's also just ran 2 weeks ago. And none of these horses, all these other horses, have had about a month off or so. You got to consider that. I think that's a good thing for the.
I don't have Mage in my exacta, but
Yeah.
I would put Mage in the trifecta or the superfecta.
Well, this is going to
for
be
sure.
this will probably be a slower pace than that. That could
Mhm.
hurt Mage,
Mhm.
because of, what he did before. So you can't discount Mage, that's for sure. But I really like Blazing Sevens because Chad Brown, great trainer. Irad Ortiz,
Yeah,
come on,
yeah.
one of the best jockeys out there. I also like First Mission with Luis Saez. That's a Cox trained horse. And those 2, 7 and 8, really are going to like this distance, I think. And I don't know about National Treasure. I have some. I think it'll be there. And Mage, it's hard not to pick Mage. I also, as one of the other long shots, there's something about that I've researched about number 6 Perform. I think real good at this distance also. So I'll put my picks on the site in the next day by tomorrow. I usually like to wait another day after this, about till Thursday and go through some other things. But those are the picks that I.
Where's Mage? Is he on what?
He's
where's-
number 3.
He's 3. So
Number 3, and
That's a
so
lot
far at 8 to 5 odds at this point, or at the latest point.
But that's normal.
Yeah, and I think 7 Blazing Sevens, 6 to 1, First Mission 5 to 2. These things change all the time, and as the race approaches.
Now, your longest shot on the board is Chase the Chaos at 50 to 1.
Correct.
But if I'm going with long shot, I'm going to go with Rosario with Red Route 1.
Yeah, and I had it crossed out here, and that 10 to 1, Rosario, great jockey,
Mhm.
Asmussen, great
Mhm.
trainer, a good speed rating. I think he'll be fine with the distance.
I think that's
I
a
think
good long
like
shot.
Mage, both of them kind of lack early speed, and this one's might not favor them.
No, I don't think so.
So Mage
But
also,
but yeah, keyword there is might, and I agree with that. It just might not.
Yeah.
I agree.
Well, every horse race might. Yeah, it might.
Well,
Yeah, but this is different.
Might rain
This
today,
might it might run good, might not.
But the thing about this one, Big Richard, is that this is the first time since 1969 that not one of the Kentucky Derby horses, or besides Mage, is going to be in this
Right.
race. And just like Rockin' Ronnie was talking about, all these horses have been off for a month.
right, which is a good thing actually. I mean, it's not
Well,
a bad thing.
not for Mays. though.
Well, no, exactly.
and
that's what I'm saying.
and
Mays
now-
just ran 2 weeks ago and put all out to win that race. So
now before American Pharoah and Justified won the Triple Crown, that was the reason that they were talking about changing the Triple Crown until those guys. For years,
Right.
they were always saying, well, it's too hard. It's too hard.
Right.
This is the race is why it's too hard.
right. Yeah, 2 weeks later. And then the Belmont is 3 weeks after this.
And that's the longest distance.
And that's a mile and a half. Yeah, exactly.
You know, Bob Baffert is there? Which horse is he?
National
Number-
treasure.
National
Yeah,
treasure.
One on
Yeah.
Treasure.
Yeah.
Okay. Just saying.
Just
The,
saying.
the bad guy.
Don't like him.
The
Never
bad
have.
guy is here.
If we liked Ross Chastain, don't we?
And he's from my home
I
track.
love Ross Chastain.
He's actually from my home
Gets
track
punched
too,
every
you know,
week.
Santa Anita Baffert, you know, but and Velasquez, good jockey. I mean, it's a good horse. He ran fourth in a grade 1, you know, in his last race, but none of these other horses are really up except Mage, you know, so you got to give him a shot. I'm thinking on it.
Okay. So your picks will be on the website.
I will put them on there. I'll do it tomorrow afternoon or so. Tomorrow's Thursday. The race is late Saturday, and I just need another day to really
Okay.
fine tune what I'm going to
We'll
do.
definitely look on that because you had Mage in the
I did,
Yeah,
and,
Mage.
and then I took them out, and you know,
definitely
But,
be watching your picks on the website.
you know.
For sure.
I'll be looking for the one that you take off.
no, that's the one. Well, you know,
That's
I mean,
the one.
come on, you know, you got to know better, right? Than to go with, stick with one of the first things you do.
Stick
And I
with your
didn't.
first instinct.
And the reason they scratched 5 horses and Forte, one of the big ones, right at the end, and
Right.
Mage ran with him the last time they ran together and came in second. And I thought, I shouldn't have changed it, but that's part of my thinking at the time. So
Golf has its second major of the year, the 105th PGA Championship this week from Oak Hill Country Club in Rochester, New York. Gator, who will be lifting the Wanamaker Trophy as champion this Sunday.
Well, I'm going to take Morikawa. Last night I told Joe I was going to take Cantlay, but I was watching some things this morning when they were practicing, and I kind of like him, so I'm going to take Morikawa. But the big thing, Joe, is that Jordan Spieth is going for his Grand Slam, and only 5
So anyway,
other,
enjoy the game, and
players have done it.
got some
That'd be Jack Nicklaus,
got some squares.
Tiger Woods, Ben Hogan, Gary Player, and Gene Sarazen.
Yeah,
I even had to ask Joe who was seeing Sarazen.
Gene Sears, and then you got to go back to the 30s. And that's a pretty tough company to join in there. But
Yeah,
the
it
problem with the real problem with Jordan Spieth is he's got a left wrist injury, and he says it's very painful. And his odds have gone from like 15 to 40 to 1. Nobody expects him to win now, and that's my guy. That's my man, Jordan Spieth. I already put money on him like a couple months ago
Put some Ben Gay on it or something, he'll be fine.
He's got something. He's got it taped up.
You got taped up. That'll
Taped
work.
up.
Well, last year, Joe, Justin Thomas won it in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But the biggest thing about the Oak Hill is that they just redid that whole course. And they're saying that it's really hard right now. And I think that we should be watching hole 17 and 18 very close.
Yeah. So it's a completely different course. If any of these guys had played this before, they won't recognize him.
Exactly. So it's kind of new to everybody.
So my guys, Spieth is now 45 to 1, believe it or not. Just keeps going up and up and up. Well, John Rahm, I got it 9 to 1. He's at 8 to 1 last I checked.
He's the favorite.
Yeah. 750 now. How can you it's tough to go against him. He's the
He's
best
the
player in
favorite.
the world right now. Brooks Koepka, it was like the second round of the Masters, and he was 33 to 1 to win the PGA, and I jumped on it because he was playing so well. He's down to like
20 to 1.
20 to 1.
Yeah.
And
That's a nice price.
at the local book, he's 15 to 1. So
That's a nice price.
yeah. So we'll see how that goes. So those are going to be my picks, Rahm and Koepka. We'll see how that goes. Gator.
Yeah.
NASCAR was at Darlington last week. What were the results?
Okay, well, Joe, guess who caused the last yellow flag in that race?
Oh, there could only be one guy.
Yeah,
Ross
Chastain.
Chastain.
Well, he wrecked Kyle Larson after a restart with 6 laps left. But William Byron is kind of funny, Joe, because he was expecting it. He said that he was waiting for it. He was going to go right by him after they wrecked, and that's what he sure did. But what was cool, what was great was I picked Kevin Harvick last week, and he was sitting in second. And on that last restart, he did keep him behind him. So
Yeah, you got second place.
yeah, I'll take it though. I just don't know if Kevin Harvick's going to do it now. I know they're going to be back there at Darlington one more time, but we'll see. Now this is the third race that Chastain has taken out Kyle Larson.
So Byron was smart to just wait.
Oh yeah, he
Well, after the interview, Kyle Larson said it was hard racing. It wasn't, you know, I mean, it's he raced. So at least he's trying to win the race. I mean, he didn't. He bum drafted. I don't think he purposely did. I don't think you purposely wreck your car in the last couple of laps of the race. I mean, I think you raced to win. He was trying to get in there and get that, and he hit.
Well, he was trying to push him out, So he did it too much. I agree with that. But man, he got a history of it. Not like you can just say I'm
gotta love Ross Chastain. He races hard. He races to win. I mean, that's
gives me something. He gives us something to talk about.
Racing hard.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, at least he didn't get punched this week. That was always positive.
But Ross also took out the pole setter Martin Truex, and he led 145 of the first 150.
Right, it seemed like his race car wasn't the same after that.
He sure wasn't.
Where he did get
I'll give you that. But so let's go through our standing. William Byron took the checker flag. Kevin Harvick second, and Chase Elliott got his best finish after he's been back in third. Now, as far as the Toyotas, Bubba Wallace was the best for them in fifth.
All right. Well, where will NASCAR be this weekend?
Okay, well, the next race is at North
Wilkesboro, yeah.
Speedway in North Carolina, and this is the All-Star event. So the last two were in Texas, Joe, but NASCAR hasn't been at this track since 1996.
So I'll give you a sink or swim on this one.
All right.
Okay, the last one to win at Wilkinson was Dale Earnhardt Jr. sink or swim in 1996 or 2000. Was it 2016? Right?
1996.
It was 2016, I believe.
Well, they haven't raced at Wilkesboro.
Okay, wait. We're going to get the information on
Yeah,
that.
well,
Okay. The last one to win, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and we'll get the year for that. Sink or swim?
Well, I'm gonna say sink. I'm gonna say maybe it was his dad, maybe Dale Earnhardt.
It wasn't.
It could be Dale Earnhardt.
The last one to win was Jeff Gordon.
Oh,
so
right
it was a sink.
There it is.
It was 1996.
Well, that's been a while.
Okay, well, Joe, the Chevys are favored at this track at a plus 105. I like the Toyotas. I'm going to go 12-5 with them. And the Fords are at 5-2.
So, right. Gator, is this track, since it's been so long, I think it's a 1 mile track, isn't it? It's a smaller track.
It's even smaller than Richmond. It is 0.625.
Wow.
So close to the Coliseum.
So here's my question, sink or swim. Is Ross Chastain's car going to look like it was in a demolition derby?
I think he has multiple people gunning for him. He's going to have to get out in front and stay there.
You can make every excuse you can on this track.
Right. So, but there will be less cars on the track because it's the All-Star race. So
right,
it's $1 million race.
They'll still be racing.
It's going to be like 9 o'clock, 8:30, 9 o'clock in LA, trying to get to your job.
Okay, you got anybody in particular you like in a Toyota?
Let's go with Martin
Truex.
Yeah, he won. He's pretty good.
Yep, 10-1. Okay, we'll go with it.
And it's 2-1 that Chastain ends up in the wall.
Pretty good bat or punch or both.
No, both. There you go.
So Ronnie, what's going on in the world of baseball? Or maybe I should talk to Gator here and get through your predictions first.
There you go. Okay. Well, last week, Joe, I went 3-2 out of my 5. So I'll give you my 5 series for this week. Yankees are going to be at Cincinnati. They should win that series. Toronto is hosting Baltimore. I'll take Toronto. Houston is playing Oakland. Don't want to say that's a gimme, Joe, but
sure it is.
And
you don't want to say it, but you can say it. It's all right.
Colorado at Texas. Kind of have the same feeling there. Colorado is playing better, though. I agree with that, so you might get better odds. And Boston is going to be at San Diego, and I think after getting swept by the Dodgers like they did, I think Boston's going into a hornet's nest.
No,
I'm
so
hoping,
like
anyways. That's my heart.
And Cincinnati, that first one, they're playing some good baseball now. You really, and they're at home. So, and I like Baltimore actually over Toronto. But yeah,
How many home runs do you think Judge is going to get on him?
well, he's starting to hit some lately, but
Lately, he's hit 5 home runs in 4 games.
Yeah.
Now, at the beginning, Ronnie, in the first 27 games, he only hit 4 home runs.
Right. And you heard what happened night before last, right? With playing Toronto with the Yankees, and I don't know if you saw him at the plate, and the camera showed him,
and he was looking across,
and his eyes went like this, and it's like, no, he couldn't see the catcher, and there was a bunch of commotion in the dugout. And
stealing signs.
So you thought when you said you can't see it, we can't see it on the radio. What you're saying is you thought he would look back towards the catcher to get the sign.
No,
no,
he didn't. No, I don't believe he did, and I don't believe he could see the catcher with what his eyes did.
Like
there was a bunch of commotion in the dugout, and again, stealing signs is not illegal unless you use some kind of mechanical, electrical devices, or what the Astros did in the World Series, banging on the trash can. Okay, now what they did look at is the coaches, the first base coach. But if you notice that box that the coach is supposed to stand in, none of them ever stand in that box.
Right.
And they don't enforce it.
No.
They're standing way behind it like this one was, and they thought maybe he was picking off signs. Well, that's not illegal.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
That's part of the game.
Then change your signs, or watch how you protect them, or whatever.
Or why don't you just use the thing now that with the pitchers can use it, they can hit the button.
Well, a lot of times because they look at where the catcher's mitt is.
Oh, okay.
A lot of times
So
it's going to be inside, outside, high, low.
I got you.
I'm just saying that it's not illegal to steal signs. So
Immoral.
And well, no, if you can do it,
It's
if
part
you
of the
can
game.
do it,
It's
you
part of
do
the
it,
game.
and they've been doing it forever. And
If you're not cheating, you're not trying.
that's right.
This is
So, but anyway, so that happened with the Yankees, Blue Jays, and they're still playing today. Another game today, right? Yeah, they played the last 2 nights, and the Yankees beat them. So, anyway,
Joe, you want
Did
my
you have
hot and cold list?
Okay. Well, who has been hot?
They have 4 teams. The Dodgers are at the top, just like last week. They're 8-2. But we have 3 teams that are 7-3, and that would be the Yankees, Texas, and St. Louis. Joe,
We were talking about that. At least I was. That St. Louis, they were 10-19. We were talking a couple of weeks ago. There's no way they were going to finish 9 games below 500.
yeah.
they have a very good team. Been really rough lately, and there's been a couple other issues that I talked about before with that manager, and he had to be on a hot seat lately about when you got a team like that and you're losing that much, and so they've won a little bit now this last week, so we'll see what happens.
Well, my cold list, Joe.
Sure.
Okay, I have Pittsburgh 2-8, and we have the next 4 teams are 3-7. That'd be the Mets, the Cubs, San Diego, and the Angels.
The Mets and San Diego, 2 of the highest paid teams,
Yes.
are not playing well.
But every team goes through a losing streak.
Well, yeah, San Diego, it's pretty surprising, with all that extra talent they
Well,
have.
they just
What
got
are they
that-
now? 3 games below 500 or 4 now after last night. Some of those guys like Soto is starting to hit and all that, and they have good pitch. They're going to be okay, but it's still,
they just got
way through the
disappointing.
season. It's pretty, it's pretty disappointing. I have some big Padre friends here in town that are pretty disappointed.
They just got done
So-
playing the Dodgers, and
Right.
Dodgers just swept.
Well, we took 2 out of 3 in San Diego, and then took all 3 in LA, and the Dodgers have been just playing
and
really
that's
well.
probably what's going to get you your 95 wins this year.
Yeah.
I listened to
yeah.
a bullpen session today.
Pardon me?
Walker Buehler threw a
Oh, yeah?
bullpen
Yeah,
session
well,
today, so he's getting healthy.
They said they were hoping to have him by the end of this year, and we'll see, what happens. And you don't want to bring him back too early, okay? You really don't. And Tommy John surgery is usually anywhere from 12 to 18 months, depending on the player. So we'll see what happens. I want to talk about, you got something else to get?
Well, I'm good.
Nathan Eovaldi, he's a pitcher for Texas. And he'll be pitching tonight at 8 o'clock, 5 o'clock our time, Texas and Atlanta. And he is on a 28 2/3 scoreless streak right now.
Ooh.
And he's always been a good pitcher.
Yeah.
Pitched for Boston.
He pitched for Boston, correct, and now he's on Texas. And so tonight's game, he's got a 28 and 2/3 scoreless inning streak on the line. Wanted to talk about Drew Rasmussen, pretty big pitcher for Tampa Bay. He's on a 60-day injured list with a right arm elbow flexor strain, so you need to think about that. Don Denkinger, Joe and I talked about that last night. The AL umpire for 30 years, passed away. He was 86 years old. And I know Joe.
I don't wish death on anybody, but if there was one umpire I hated and would continue to hate, I'd be Don.
I will tell you something that ever since that time, St. Louis Cardinals, right? After since then, the 10th and 20th anniversary of that, the Cardinals had, I think, and they invited Don Denkinger, so they got to be close to him, and obviously he did a lot of
like
good
this
stuff.
umpire. And who's the Scott, the guy you don't like in NBA, the NBA one that's always going against
Scott Foster.
Scott Foster.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Don't be wishing death on him.
No,
Okay.
I know.
But Don Denkinger, that was the St. Louis, Kansas City World Series in 1985. I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
And the guy was clearly out at first base, and Don Denkinger called him safe. I mean, he had to be out by at least 2-3 feet,
Exactly.
and it cost St. Louis the World Series because that would have been the end of the game.
Yeah.
Todd Warhouse on first base.
But he ended up still umpiring for 30 years and did a lot of stuff that was okay.
I'm sure he did some wonderful things, but he'll be most known for
Wonderful thing.
most known for screwing it. Unfortunately,
Rockin' Ronnie, give me your pitcher, Miller. Give me some info on him. That's some good stuff.
Okay, Bryce Miller, right-handed starting pitcher for Seattle. He's a number 2 prospect. He has pitched in his last 3 starts at least 6 innings, given up 1 run or less, 3 hits or less, 1 walk or less, 19 innings pitched, 0.47 ERA, 0.42 WHIP. Opposing batters are hitting 111, 18 strikeouts and 1 walk in that 3 games that he won all 3 of those games, 3-0.
So you got a great chance every time he takes the mound.
Yeah.
And also you can get him at 75-1 to win the Cy Young right now. So
and there was already an article about Cy Young, which is way early, but
we can tell he's pitching like this. He's
totally.
in the mix.
Yeah, he's a young guy. He's just there. He could have some rocky times, and he could straighten it out and get still be good. So, but it's just something that is going on right now with him, and we'll bring up Kershaw, 21st place now all time on the strikeout list. Justin Verlander now is the 21st pitcher in history to beat every single team.
That's sweet.
all right.
And Jansen, Kenley Jansen, Dodger, the ex-Dodger, and Atlanta now is a Boston reliever. He becomes the 7th pitcher in history to reach 400 saves. Unfortunately, all 3 of those guys I just mentioned just had a rough outing in their last time, but it's all good. You still got
A little bit of a letdown.
You still got to bring it up, right? I mean, come on. It's Tommy John surgery for Tyler Mayhill. He's a Minnesota pitcher that they kind of, count on. He'll, of course, Tommy John again could be anywhere from a year to year and a half. So
we'll have to go with George Kirby, the other Seattle right-handed pitcher. Our producer gave us some great information on him. He's won his last 3 starts. He's got a great ERA. So when you see Kirby take them out, I mean, it looks like the last year Cy Young was Robbie Ray from Seattle, and now we got 2 young.
And he's out for the year. To do Tommy John surgery, which we brought up, I think, last week.
2 young guns coming up right behind him. I think.
What happened to that one guy who took that hit to the face? The pitcher got smacked in the head. Got the ball. I didn't actually get to see it, but I heard about it.
That is
Ryan Seltzner or something like that.
I know. I have that too, and I was going to talk about.
But anyway, is he going to be okay or not?
Yeah, he's going to be okay. He's concussion, and he's still being watched at the hospital, and I mean, he was awake when it happened, but that's pretty dangerous stuff, man.
He pitches for Colorado.
Correct. Yeah.
Correct.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ryan Feltner.
He
That's
fractured his skull.
Skull fracture,
Skull fracture.
concussion after being hit by a 92.7 mile an hour line drive on Saturday.
Right here.
There
Here
it
it is.
is. Okay, we're get to see. Oh my God. That's one of these days they're going to be wearing helmets, these guys.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And I
Look like a goalie. Look like the goalie.
I think that'd be fine. You know, I mean, now, you know, look how it's changed over the years with the batters, and not just that helmet, just like a hat. They have the flap over the ear, the flap over the mouth. I'm fine with all that, man. These guys are throwing almost 100 miles an hour, you know, from 60 feet, actually probably 56 feet by the time they release.
Right.
You know, so
Yeah, that's physically and mentally challenging to overcome something like that.
yeah, totally. And we wish him well, obviously. And he was awake, but those head injuries can be really bad. So they got to keep an eye on
Scary,
him.
real scary. Well, I guess that's it for baseball for this week.
Yeah.
I have a couple more things I should mention. The Oklahoma softball team begins its quest for its third straight NC2A
They
championship
look
this
great.
week.
They do look good.
The Sooners, you want to guess their record? 51-1.
Yeah.
And last I checked, minus 200 to win it all again.
Wow.
I tried to find the odds. I couldn't find them yesterday, but I got them at minus 145 and minus 160, minus 170. Okay. Well,
Always
that's
fun
not
to
bad.
watch
That
that.
I've seen too.
Always
Oh.
fun to watch that.
Women's softball is awesome.
Yeah.
I love watching that.
So do I.
Looking
Yeah,
forward to
it's
that.
awesome.
Congratulations to Arlington and head coach Bob Stoops. Pulled off the upset and won the XFL championship last Saturday. You could have got odds as high as 10-1 on them during the season. They've only finished 4-6 during the regular season.
Made the playoffs.
And made the playoffs. They won it all.
Go pigs.
And sadly, I report the death of Doyle Brunson, the godfather of poker, at the age of 89. And that's about it for the stories. And let's see. So now it's time for the moments we've been waiting for. Stories that make us furious about bets that seem surely to be winners, but in the end, something went horribly wrong. They ended up being losers. It's a segment we call You Got Hosed.
You got hosed.
All right, Joe. Well, my host story is the XFL championship game. The Arlington Renegades, with the record of 4-6, like you said, played DC Defenders at 10-1 in the Alamo Dome, Joe. Now, when the line came out, the books had it at a DC favored by 6. But when the game kicked off, that jumped up to 8. Now, everybody was on them. But if you paid attention, Joe, which I didn't realize, I didn't do this game was a home game for Arlington. And I'm a sucker for home dogs all the time. But
Pretty close, San Antonio and Arlington.
exactly. And the score at halftime was 20-6 Renegades, and DC didn't get their first points until 32 seconds left in the first half. Now, DC did score the first touchdown in the second half, but I think that was just too much on those 3 interceptions for them to overcome. So I have to say, if you had DC Defenders, you got hosed.
You had it all year. You're going to win it all, and you're playing a 4-6 team, and then you don't win it. It's got to be a disappointment.
But I think they would have played in Canton like they did last time.
Why not Canton, Ohio? That would have been great.
That's what I was wondering. Okay.
Well, if you had Denver last night and gave 6.5 points, you were winning by 21 at one point, and all of a sudden Austin Reeves starts draining threes, goes all the way down. It was 6 points, and the Lakers missed the shot. They got the rebound with probably 2 or 3 seconds left. The Lakers didn't foul. You thought for sure they were going to foul, get the 2 free throws, and then they would cover. So the Lakers gave up, says we're going to go to game 2. We're not even going to foul. So if you had the Denver last night, you know I didn't.
I actually watched the bigger. I actually watched that one.
Well, my story is somewhat similar. It's that if you took Miami minus 5 or 6 in that game 6 against New York, they're up 6. They got the ball, 30 seconds left. And the ref calls this flagrant foul on a guy, just a glancing blow, trying to get open for a pass. I just watched Anthony Davis almost get a concussion from Kevin Looney. They didn't call anything on that. And this guy got a flagrant. So, well, they traded some free throws. 15 seconds left. Knicks need 2 3-pointers to tie. They're down 6. They just go up there and shoot a layup. Still, the season's on the line. You're thinking New York's going to foul. Nope, they just quit. Their season ends. Miami wins by 4, and they fail to cover the point spread. It was sickening to watch, and I and others who bet Miami got hosed.
You got hosed.
That's it for the show. I'd like to thank Big Richard Martin, Gator Gates, Rockin, Ronnie McKinnon, and all our contributors, our editor, producer, and engineer, Cornelius, and all you listeners out there. Next week, we look forward to bringing you another episode of Covering the Field.
You've been listening to Covering the Field. Email us at coveringthefield@gmail.com for all your comments or questions. Find us on Twitter @CoveringField. And of course, always check out the website for our picks of the week and updated articles. coveringthefield.com.